Thank you. My name is Nate Stasko. I'm president and co-founder of Novan Therapeutics. I think this is a wonderful meeting. I remember attending this meeting 4 years ago, and what really stood out to me as an entrepreneur was that there was no one recipe for success. Everybody's story was a little bit different, and you were really encouraged by the people on this panel and others that have come in the years before to really embrace your story and really go after what you're passionate about. Novan was anything but a standard biotech creation story. We've been in operation for 7 years. We have 0 institutional dollars to date. We've done it all through high net worth private individuals throughout the area. And that was really led by the former CEO and chairman of CRE, Neil Hunter. So Neil Hunter had a lot of success in the semiconductor and technology industry. And when he saw the breadth that nitric oxide had for human health, and the platform that I was bringing to him as an entrepreneur, he saw a lot of the framework and the vision that he had built successfully with CRE in this biotech startup. So it was his first life science foray, and I do want to disclose that this presentation does contain forward-looking statements and risks subject to other development stage pharma companies. So our whole story was based on nitric oxide. Your body is making nitric oxide every second of every day. And over the last 20 years, since it was discovered that it controls blood pressure and vascular tone, all these therapeutic areas have been unlocked. We know it's an anti-cancer agent. It's chemotherapeutic. It works synergistically with other chemotherapies. It's involved in host defense. It kills bacteria, viruses, fungi. It's involved in blood pressure, platelet aggregation, all these different physiological processes. And then you'd ask yourself, then where are all the nitric oxide-based drugs? And as a company, Novan was founded, it was spun out of UNC Chapel Hill to overcome all of those CMC and drug delivery issues with nitric oxide. And essentially, we operated for 5 years working to put our hands on nitric oxide, to deliver it to you as a parent, to you as a physician, or to you as a consumer. So our whole technology really, for the first time, enables us to chemically store this radical gas in a solid form that we call our NitroCell technology. And in essence, it is druggable nitric oxide. The stable storage, a lot of the early chemistries, you'd take them out of the freezer, they would melt on the benchtop. There's a lot of academic work that can be done with that, but that's far from translating it to a 2-year room temperature stable acne medicine that I can distribute around the world. Controlled release is a big one. Nitric oxide's pharmacology in all those different therapeutic areas is modulated by how much and how fast, how slow, different disease states. And we've been able to move through that, not only with our lead programs, but some early investigational ones as well. And then the biggest one for us was therapeutic amounts, therapeutic quantities. We could store more nitric oxide per gram of solid than anybody else in the world, and that really put us leapfrog ahead. And so when we spun this out of UNC Chapel Hill, so this slide depicts our barriers to entry and our IP model, where we have core technology and composition of matter at the heart of our business, like our NitroCell technology. We've also invented process nuances as well as in-licensed competitive technologies from around the world in that center, that core white sphere. And then radiating outward, the middle layer is what's really essential to translating that into real-world solutions. How do I get this core technology? Okay, it's a solid white powder, but in a cosmetically elegant gel for your face, or an occlusive ointment to heal diabetic foot ulcers. So that's what really Novan's been focused on, is translating those real-world solutions. And then in the outer ring is method-specific cases, like in dermatology or other disease areas. Now, with this whole platform, we've been predominantly focused on the skin. And with all the technology and directions that nitric oxide could go, we were focused on one particular disease state, and that was in acne. So in summary, the company has a technology that leads to a series of new NCEs, and nitric oxide is not the drug, it's actually the macromolecular framework, and we can go into that and follow-up conversations. But we'll have 2 to 3 late-stage clinical programs by the second half of 2015. We have a phase 2B study that will be completing this summer in acne, and we will be phase 3 ready. The API was 300 milligrams in our first batch in 2008. It's 10 kgs now. It can support phase 3 and early commercial quantities, so that's a huge advancement in the nitric oxide field. And then really last year when we reported our positive phase 2 data with statistically significant success in both lesion types and acne, it validated the platform. So if anyone out there has a platform technology, the one piece of advice is make sure you focus on one area. And that's what Neil really brought to us and to me as an entrepreneur, was focus on one particular indication, make that work, use that to validate the platform, and then use that success to fund, monetize the growth, spin out other companies, and explore all those broader areas of nitric oxide. And I just wanted to leave you, they said, well, how are you impacting the lives of patients in the next 10 years? And I wanted to show you a couple photos from some subjects in our acne study. Now, people don't think of acne as being life-threatening disease unless it's your son or your daughter and those critical adolescent years in their life where they're very moldable and the social rejection and the stigma that comes from it. So you can see this patient here, baseline and after 12 weeks of therapy with SP204. This subject here, African-American male, not only the reduction in lesions, but the improvement of his skin tone and the decrease in hyperpigmentation. And although that's not necessarily one of the approvable endpoints, the improved cosmetic outcomes is something that you're seeing over and over again on our product. And then lastly, this subject here, the disease on her forehead and her cheeks, and you can really see the pain and inflammation that has been reduced after 12 weeks of therapy. So 40, 50 million Americans have acne. That's not a rare disease or a genetic target, but we can have that subtle impact on the very important years of that quality of life with big market potential. And so I encourage everyone to follow us on NovanTherapeutics.com for our upcoming announcements. Thank you.